In anticipation of Animopolis being released soon, and it being Halloween 3 days ago, I thought it's as good of a time as ever to take a look at some more liminal spaces, this time in Garry's mod. I love not only liminal spaces, but also interesting environments in video games, ones that have a sense of realism that's distorted due to technological constraints. One way this can be done is with photorealism, an aspect of slapping photographs as textures. Not only was this one of the main topics of Duke Nukem Forever, but this is one of the things that I will be exploring here, as the Source engine, with it still hanging on 18 years after its inception, is perfect for this. Of course, in 2004, having photorealistic textures was still a common practice, but now it's the only actively maintained engine that still uses this technique, and therefore it's perfect not only for liminal spaces, but also for the feeling of video game nostalgia. The first map that we'll be looking at is GM Shambles, a horror map from 2013 that recreates a generic street in England. I love this map for the fake sense of realism. I could swear I've walked down the street before. It looks like the street that two of my friends live on a few minutes down the road. With it being a horror map, it takes place at night, and of course the orange glow of the high pressure sodium lamps helps to create the atmosphere of walking down the street in the middle of the night. There is that sort of eeriness where you don't know what may happen, though there is also a daytime version of this map to let you see the architecture in more detail. But despite the interior of the buildings using generic Half-Life 2 textures that have more of an Eastern European look to them, the exterior of the buildings looks so real. The bricks, the little entryways into some of the houses, the garages next to the houses. Like I said already, it feels like I've been down the street before, it's awesome. And of course, with the heavy use of photographic textures, it really makes that part of my brain really happy, with the fact it looks so realistic and yet so distorted and fake. There are also other little British details, like this railing to slow down cyclists, the street sign, and the little fenced off gardens. I even made a few maps like this in Unity, liminal British style. Now that's not all this map offers, however, I won't spoil the other areas for those who want to play it. But to round off my opinion on this map, I love the eeriness of both the nighttime map and the heavy fog sunset look of the daytime map. With the map missing a lot of finer details on life, it makes for a great liminal map because it makes you feel uneasy, like you just landed in this somewhat familiar neighbourhood with no easy way out, with things not feeling or looking right, and when you try to leave, you end up in an endless field. The second map, Autumn 2001, doesn't use photorealistic textures, but goes a completely different route, by going for a retro video game console look, and it's very effective in doing so, with it not looking like Source at all. With the dithering and the scaling of the textures, it's a good attempt at simulating a PS1, or even an early Windows 95 game. Anyway, the reason I am touching on this map is because its setting is very nostalgic to me. Even though the creator is Russian, of course many things do relate to Polish living. The first thing is this hallway mirror and drawer combo. My grandma lived in a flat just like this one, and she had this exact combo unit, except where the key is in this map would be an overabundance of slippers that were older than me. Really, the only thing this map is missing is a balcony. When we come out the hallway, oh my god, this is quite literally identical to my grandma's flat. The only thing that was different is the paint was green, not blue, but that two-tone pattern is exactly how it was painted, even those dark wooden doors. While the exterior doesn't look exactly like this, I've seen many apartment blocks in Poland that do. And hey look, it's the outdoor garage area, because if people are gonna wait years to be able to receive their car, they need at least somewhere to park them. We also have a little kiosk. While she didn't have one, it's overall an accurate description of one. There's also a little park outside, naturally, and we even have a little shop nearby. That is exactly how my grandma's street was. My mum used to work at a shop just like this, even with a very similar layout. You also have this large enclosure with bins, which I just knew this map would have. I've wanted to recreate that sort of space in a video game for years, and even though I probably never will due to having no 3D modelling skills, this is the closest I'll ever come to visiting grandma's flat again. The final map is an actual liminal space map, named Places from Your Dreams. As the creator says, this is a map that takes inspiration from the most popular liminal spaces images on Google, as well as spaces he's visited in the past. The gimmick with this map is that it's all interconnected. Each door leads to a completely different space. This very well may be the largest Source map I've ever played, with my playthrough lasting half an hour, and I'm sure I ended up missing some rooms during the playthrough, and this was also after watching Vinny play this map. Yes, for a third time in a row, I have Vinny and his community to thank for this video idea. With this map not having any linear path to go down, it can feel extremely overwhelming at first, because you don't want to miss any space and have to backtrack on yourself. This is one of the natural fear factors of this map, with another being the very well done audio that helps to add ambience to the map. The concept of this world is quite similar to Animopolis. However, the thing that makes Places from Your Dreams special is that visually it's the complete opposite. It's not this hyper-realistic look that's pushing the boundaries of what Unity can do. The spaces here look straight off Half-Life 2 in the texture and model work. So while it's easier to immerse yourself in the world of Animopolis, Here, the source look gives these similar spaces a completely different vibe, less realistic but just as horrifying. One way the horror is created is with the gritty photorealistic textures that once again remind me of Half-Life 2. The spaces are not only desolate, they look abandoned, stuck in time from decades ago. Many of these spaces are decaying, breaking apart. These spaces bend the idea of normality, with the size and content not making sense as to what you'd see in real life. Just like how shambles look like a street I've been down before, but not quite right. And just like the shambles, it's especially creepy when you come across a space you've been in before. This looks just like the banquet hall I used to work at when I was at uni. The carpet, the wooden panels on the walls and ceiling. I imagine behind the white drape is a Yamaha piano, and behind me is missing the bar I was not allowed to serve at. These bloody round tables. An absolute pain to reset and try to get around when you've got your hands full. It's nice to be able to get my anger out here. Despite these spaces looking empty, I think the creator put a lot of time into this map, and I do think less is more, in terms of making it feel creepier and unreal. There are a lot of spaces in this map that are beautiful and wallpaper worthy. There's just something beautiful about trying to emulate real life with Source, because of the crust adding a natural scare factor. I think I might be repeating myself here, so I'll just end off on showing you guys my favourite spots of the map, and I highly recommend you guys playing through this map yourself if it's your type of thing. And if none of this was your type of thing, don't worry. I have shot 2.5 hours of trailer footage, so once I get the script finished, I'll be straight round to making my first racing game review in over a year. So hang tight, make sure you're subscribed, and I hope to see you then.